Hello and welcome back to the training series of TAE certification. In our previous session, we discussed the initial deployment where we focused on first deployment of a TAS. Today, our focus shifts to maintenance deployment. So let's begin. For maintenance deployments, there are additional considerations. Let's use our computer analogy to explain maintenance deployments. Imagine you have been using your computer for a while now, and now it's time for a big software update, like moving from one operating system version to the next. So let's see that what would be the additional considerations. Number one, evolution of the TAS. The TAS in itself needs to evolve and the updates for it have to be deployed into production. Think of the TAS like your computer's operating system. It needs to get better over time, just like your computer software, so updates are essential. Number two, deploying updates. Before deploying an updated version of the TAS into production, it needs to be tested like any other software. When the TAS gets updated, it's like getting a new version of your computer software, but before you use it, you have to make sure that it works. Just like you would check if the new software update on your computer does not cause any problem. Number three, testing new functionality. It is therefore necessary to check the new functionality to verify that the test suite can be run on the updated TAS, that reports can be sent, and that there are no performance issues or other functional regressions. Okay, so let's split it into few different sections. First of all, let's talk about the testing new functionality. So you want to ensure that any new features in the updated TAS or software work smoothly. Similarly to checking if the new apps or features on your computer work as intended. Okay, now the next section over here talks about running the test suite. So you need to see if the TAS can still handle all the tests in the test suite, just like making sure your computer runs all your applications without glitches. Then we are talking about sending reports. If your computer sends reports or updates, you want to verify that this still works, similar to checking if the TAS can send reports as expected. Then we have handling changes. In some cases, the entire test suite may need to be changed to fit the new version of the TAS. Sometimes the update might be so big that even your old files or programs don't work the same way. Similarly, for TAS, the entire test suite might need changes to fit the new version. So just like updating your computer's software, maintaining the TAS means making sure it evolves smoothly, gets tested thoroughly, and fits perfectly into your testing environment. When maintenance deployment occurs, the following steps are needed. Number one, assessing changes. Make an assessment of the changes in the new version of the TAS compared to the old one. Number two, testing for new functionality and regressions. Test the TAS for both new functionality and regressions. And number three, adapting the test suite. Check if the test suite needs to be updated to the new version of the TAS. To summarize, during maintenance deployments, we assess what's new, test everything thoroughly, and make sure that the tests themselves are in sync with the updated TAS. An update also incurs the following risks and corresponding mitigation actions. The first one is test suite changes, and the risk is the test suite needs to change to run on the updated TAS. And the mitigation is make the necessary changes to the test suite and test them before deploying them onto the TAS. Next one is adjusting testing tools. The risk is stubs, drivers, and interfaces used in testing need to change to fit with the updated TAS. And the mitigation for this risk is make the necessary changes to the test harness and test it before deploying to the TAS. And the third one is infrastructure adaptation. The risk is the infrastructure needs to change to accommodate the updated TAs. And the mitigation is make an assessment of the infrastructure components that need to be changed, perform the changes, and test them with the updated TAs. Then we have dealing with new defects. And the risk is the updated TAs has additional defects or performance issues. And the mitigation for this risk is perform an analysis of risks versus benefits. If the issues discovered make it impossible to update the TAs, it may be best not to proceed with the update or to wait for a next version of the TAs. If the issues are negligible compared to the benefits, the TAs can still be updated. Be sure to create a release note with known issues to notify the test automation engineers and other stakeholders and try to get an estimate on when the issues are going to be fixed. In a nutshell, when updating the TAs, be prepared for potential changes in the test suite, testing tools, and infrastructure. If there are significant issues with the updated TAs, decide whether it's worth updating now or waiting for a more stable version, and keep everyone in the loop about any problems you encounter. That brings us to the end of today's session. In the next session, we will kick off a new section dedicated to test automation maintenance. Until then, take care.